Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Basketball Friday. Let's do Basketball Friday. How about that? Football season is over, and we actually have a basketball season in Tampa Bay, thanks to the USF Bulls. Welcome into a Friday edition of the JP Peterson Show here on all of our usual platforms, YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, and, of course, always as a podcast. But now on 102.5 The Strike. So if you're listening to us live, we really appreciate you. And jump on in the comments if you can, or hit us up online at FanStream JP and let us know where you're listening, how you're listening, and you're enjoying the radio broadcast as well here. And to that end, Tim Ham, IndyCar Tim, joining me from our Dallas affiliate this morning. We've got Chris Youngblood joining us, one of the leading scorers for your USF Bulls. Great young player, and this Bulls team has really taken the area by storm. What's up, Timmy? How are you?
Good morning, JP. Good morning, Tampa. St. Pete, or is it St. Pete, Tampa? I'm not real sure how I'm supposed to.
We just say Tampa Bay, baby.
Just Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Here in Dallas, Fort Worth, if you live in Dallas, you call it Dallas Fort Worth. If you live in Fort Worth, you call it Fort Worth Dallas. And then the two, there's a whole feud, right? Depending on where you live, which is better. And it's
is there a feud there? I mean, the Twins. There's always there's always this rivalry here in Tampa Bay, which I didn't grow up here, so I never got a sense of it. Once I moved here in 1997, I was like, Tampa Bay. I first lived in Pinellas County when I first moved here and worked in Pinellas County. Then I moved over to the Tampa side and lived and worked mostly on Tampa for most of my time here. But I always look at it as one region.
Right.
And so many people look at it as Tampa versus St. Petersburg. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? It's like one big region. What are we doing? And it would help if there were some governmental agencies. I think the only thing that is kind of region wide is a transportation. And I think they've even divvied that up. So it's like you can't, which is silly because you should work as one region. You should work as one region, but every government, is different. And I guess that's impossible to do. But
Fort Worth's always played the role of little brother to Dallas. It's always been that way for 150 years. And even now, here we are in 2024, and it's still that way.
Have you ever had a situation where it's like Fort Worth is going to take the Cowboys, like when they're going to take the Rangers, they're going to take the Stars, they're going to take the Mavs? Yeah. Have there ever been a and it's always failed.
So back in when the original Texas, the Cowboys played in the Cotton Bowl in downtown Dallas when they first came to be, and then they built Texas Stadium, which is in Irving. It's a suburb of Dallas, but it's just outside of Dallas, way closer to Dallas than Fort Worth. When they were building the stadium, it was, Fort Worth was like, we're going to build a stadium here and we're going to move them here. And then in 2009, it was the same thing. When they replaced Texas Stadium, they went to Cowboy Stadium. Jerry moved it out to Arlington, which is directly in between Dallas and Fort Worth. And Fort Worth called it a win. That they called it, we made a move out here because they want to be closer to Fort Worth. And it was
right.
It's just comical. I wasn't born here, but I've been in Dallas, the Dallas area pretty much since I was 3. And it's just comical to me. Like you said, why can't we just all get along?
Yeah, it is. It is silly at times, no question about it. I was just noticing the show is not up on my Twitter, so I'll have to retweet that and get that rolling, just so everybody knows where to watch and where to get everything and what's going on. We also have Dave Mishkin coming on at 10:15. Lightning play-by-play man. Huge win for the Bolts last night. Obviously, I was there doing my thing, working for the Lightning. For those of you who don't know, I do the intermission reports and pregame show on the Jumbotron and the postgame show with Brian Engblom, which is always very fascinating and illuminating. And it's just a tremendous win last night for the Bolts against the Avalanche. And, they put back-to-back wins together against the Bruins and the Avalanche, two teams that are clearly competing for the Stanley Cup. I was looking at some of the power rankings and some of the national and networks, and they've got the Lightning around 10, 11, which I'm not going to bitch about it. It doesn't even matter, really. They have a playoff system, a real playoff system in hockey, so you don't have to worry about the rankings, right, or getting left out. But they have them down at 10-11, which is fine. You'd rather just be under the radar. But it's kind of like Coop said after the game last night. We've gone through some times where we missed some of our better players, Vasilevsky, Sergachev, Chernak. This is now we're starting to get everybody back, and we're starting to kind of coalesce together as the team we knew we could be. Mm-hmm. And that's what you saw last night. And you would like to see some depth scoring and all that good stuff, but it's nice to have the best player in the league too. It's nice to just when Kucherov touches the ice, you got a chance to win. He was absolutely phenomenal last night. Absolutely dominant, absolutely phenomenal. It's like watching a superstar, because that's what he is, dominate a game in a league where he's the best player. Nathan McKinnon was on the ice last night with him. Those two have been going back and forth for the scoring lead. And Kucherov said with a straight face, as you knew he would, "Oh, there was no extra motivation." Come on, Cooch. Not that he needs it. The dude's ultra intense anyway. And there may be some truth to that. It's like every game I go out, I want to dominate. And of course he does, right. And does normally. But he had 16 shot attempts last night, 6 scoring chances, 15 shot attempts, 6 dangerous scoring chances, buried 2 of them, assisted on another.
Yep.
And just again was the dominant force in a game where you thought it would be McKinnon versus Cooch. Now McKinnon did take a puck to the nose somewhere in the late first, early second period. It was bad. But he missed about 6-7 minutes and came back out. But that's as my partner Brian Engblom, who's played the game, said, once you get something like that and your blood's rushing, it's obviously very hard to breathe in an ultra aerobic sport where you're trying to get oxygen into your lungs through your nose. If it's full of blood, it's going to affect your performance. So I don't want to take away anything from Cooch, but that was the situation for McKinnon. He had a couple of points, a couple of assists, was dangerous all night, but the Lightning did a good job of keeping him out of the net. And that's what you got to do in those situations. They got a couple of empty netters. But again, another big part of this and the big part of the combination that has been so good for the Lightning was Vasilevsky. Once again, he was phenomenal in net, made it look. And when Vasi's playing well, and you can see like his first 10 games and his last 10 games, there's about almost a goal difference in goals against, save percentage up about 25-30 percentage points. So there was a marked difference from when he finally coming off the back surgery. It's like, okay, there was some time that he needed to get, reacclimated to his body and get back to being the big cat. And now you're seeing he's back to being the big cat. So it's all coming together. And now you have a trade deadline coming up where Brisebois is going to have some room to maneuver now, because he's got $8.6 million in cap space to use, with Sergachev going on long-term injured reserve. How much of that they're going to use, because Sergei could come back. He could come back. So it's a severe break of the tibia and fibia, but those things heal, and he could come back late in the season. Now, of course, if they make a major move, they can't bring him back without making a corresponding move, if I'm not mistaken. I'll check. We'll ask Dave Mishkin that when he comes on. So I don't think you can have. I'm trying to think back if they did that with. Yeah, I guess they did have both when Kucherov came back. Yeah. So it's my bad memory. It's my Biden moment. Sorry. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out going into the playoffs. But right now, you have to be absolutely thrilled with the way the Lightning are playing. That's 12 of 15, 4 in a row, 8 in a row at home, and they got the Panthers coming in, which they've won 9 in a row on the road. Lightning have won 8 in a row at home, so something's got to give on Saturday, and that'll be a 5:00 game, a little early start there. So, it should be very, very interesting for that one. And your Stars blew somebody out last night, right? Last night, didn't they?
Yeah, the Predators, 9-2. We had 4 goals up 5 minutes into the game.
How many?
We were up 4-0, 5 minutes at the 15-minute mark of the first period.
Wow.
I just was like, you know what?
The Preds are struggling, huh?
Apparently, they're struggling on defense and in goal.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that was very, very interesting. All right, so we'll talk more with Dave Mishkin about the Bolts here coming up at 10:15 in just a couple minutes. A couple notes on the Rays. So the Rays spring training is opened, but this is off the field stuff concerning the stadium. The commissioner, Rob Manfred, had some quotes yesterday about, and to my knowledge, the first real comments that he's had on this stadium deal since it was agreed to somewhat 7-8 months ago. This is the first time he's extensively talked about it, which I think is interesting in and of itself. He said, I think the plan has the potential to significantly alter the economics of the franchise and make what has been an unbelievably efficient and effective organization even more effective because you'll have additional resources. Manfred told the Tampa Bay Times on Thursday. He also said, we're at the point now where it needs to go in terms of getting the deal done. Thursday, he said that wasn't seeking to put pressure on the city and Pinellas County approval process, but that he simply wants to get the stadium issue, which predated him first taking office in January 2015, resolved. He said, quote, I meant nothing by that comment. Then the sooner the financial side of things and the governmental side of things get determined, then the sooner they can get approval on the new ballpark. The sooner we know they'll have a new ballpark, the better it is for us. I'm not sending any subtle message. I'd just rather have it done sooner rather than later. It's been a long process. They seem like they have made a lot of progress, and obviously we just would like to have it finished up so we know what we're doing. I don't know if that's if that's more stating the obvious. Hopefully a new stadium will bring new revenue.
Yeah.
I think certainly initially it will, but it's still a failed location. It's still on the edge of the market. It's not in the middle of the market where most stadiums are built. On and on we could go about this. It's still a terribly flawed idea. It's way too much public money. And here's the other part. Now the plan, April vote of the city council has been pushed back to May. And part of the reason is the city council and the county commission still does not have the financial documents. February 16th, we're supposed to do a final vote in early April. Now pushed back to May because they still don't have the financial documents. And of course, Brian Auld has to, say that any altering of the timeline, in other words, if you don't approve this right away, then the whole deal blows up because it changes the timeline and it changes the construction cost and all that. It says any delay is going to fundamentally alter the entire agreement. Yeah, which is when you're trying to put something past a lot of people without them really looking at it and getting the numbers, you want to put listen, if you don't vote for this, we're going to give you the numbers in late April, and then we're going to vote on it in May. We'll give you a couple weeks but if you don't do it, it's going to fundamentally alter the entire agreement.
Right.
I mean, what do they tell you when you're doing a deal, right, with somebody? If they're really eager to get the deal done, you better read the fine print, right? Yeah. If they're pressuring you to get the deal done and get your signature, you better read the fine print. So again, this deal is a financial disaster, in my opinion, for the city of St. Petersburg and Pinellas County. $1.2 billion in public money by the time it's all done. That's the estimates in the reporting from the Times for a failed location stadium. It makes no sense. And when so many other needs of this city, and one of them is not a baseball stadium, by the way. It's downtown St. Petersburg doesn't need it. It certainly will not bring in what a convention center or a cruise port could do, or renourishing the beaches, or so many other things that could be used to improve tourism. And it's to me, it's an ego play for the politicians. That's all it is, because it makes no sense for baseball. And Rob Manfred knows that. He knows that damn well. And to say that, all he's really saying is, if it's finished, there'll be some more resources for the Rays. Well, God, I hope so. If you build a new stadium, replacing one that's completely obsolete and has been for the past 15 years, you should have more premium seating, which allows for a lot more revenue, which is what normal new stadiums are doing. So, I think that's stating the obvious. So, to me, the big news is the The vote has been pushed back to May. They still don't have the final documents for financing and won't get them until April. That's the big news. And, all of the things that we've heard, there's a lot of coming from the county commission and the city council, some hesitation on their part because they haven't seen the numbers. And they're all being briefed individually to keep it out of the sunshine of public records requests, which is also very interesting. Why are they continuing to do this in secret?
Because you got something to hide, JP.
Thank you. Thank you. That's why they do things in secret. That's why they make special arrangements to brief them individually. So it's not three people or more, and they can keep it out of a public records request.
Yeah.
There ought to be some red flags here for you folks.
Yeah.
All right. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, Dave Mishkin will join us, play-by-play man of your Tampa Bay Lightning with a heck of a win last night over the Avs. They're on a roll. We'll hear from Mish, who's also got a novel coming out. He's an author. Very interesting stuff. Stay with us. JP here for my friends at your local Synovus Bank. And I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta. Big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation. And that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get-acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to synovus.com to find out where your local branch is. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Scott Jeeves is the man, and his army of attorneys there will help you take on any insurance company that you need to. Just go to the website, jeeveslawgroup.com, contact them through there, tell them JP sent you, and sick them. Sick them on whoever you need to sick them on because they'll go after them aggressively. It's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. All right, let's welcome in the man, the myth, and now author of a great new book, Blind Squirrel, I believe is the name of it. Dave Mishkin, Lightning play-by-play man, joining the show. What's up, Dave? How are you?
I'm doing well, JP. Thank you for getting the title correct. It's only two words. It doesn't take much to memorize.
I did my research. You know how thorough I can be.
Yes, you're very thorough.
Yes, well,
you got to be on your toes to handle the intermission report with the camera. You know, I have to. You normally ask me the questions. I have to ask you a question.
You go right
all those
ahead.
years that you did, all those years that you're working in front of a camera. You've not been in front of a camera for a while, except when you come work for the Lightning. Do you ever lose that? Like when you're on radio for a long period of time and you have to go back in front of the camera. Is that an adjustment, or is it like riding a bike for you?
It's like riding a bike. It never, and it's something I don't even think about, honestly, Dave. I never think about how many people are watching. You know, I've been blessed in my career to do a lot of different things. Sunday Night Football, did a live hit with Bob Costas one night on Sunday Night Football, and literally had the IFB reverb in my ear. Like, you know what that, when you get the 2-second delay, my big breaking national TV. And I'm like, I told the truck operator, hey, make sure you take the mix minus out. And I'm working on network television. You think they'd get that right, but they didn't. But so anyway, it's, and there's millions of people watching you. And I just never think about that. If I did, I probably would lose my mind, but I don't. So it's, I guess starting at a young age, you know, I started when I was like 21 years old. So, you know, now I'm 100. So it's just, you know, at 8 years experience, it's just easy. So no, I never lose it. And of course, as you know, working with the Lightning and working with Bally's and working with the Lightning Audio Network, they have the best team ever. I mean, John Franzone, Felicia, and everybody that works at Lightning Vision, Steve, and I mean, I could go on and all these great people. They make it so easy for you. You know, all I got to do is read the damn prompter. You know, make up a few things, highlights, and it's pretty easy. So thanks for asking, though. It is fun. And believe it or not,
no, I'm curious about that.
This is a video show that we do every day. The JP Peterson Show is on video. I don't put on makeup. Maybe I should. But yes, if you joined us on StreamYard, you too would be on camera. So I'm doing 2 hours of TV every day now. It's just
that's kind of become a thing. Yeah, like I heard rumors, and they have not yet come to fruition, that for our Power Lunch show, we may be video camming that as well, which will be an adjustment because I have weird facial expressions when I talk. Even when I'm not emoting, when I'm just actually speaking, my face goes all over the place. So I don't think that I was well suited to be in front of a camera. But
this is
the thing. Sensitive about it.
This is the thing, Mitch. I have weird face. I have an ugly face and a weird face, and I don't think about it. And I don't think
ask how a guy with a face made for radio got on national TV. What the heck?
Yeah, it's a mystery. It's a mystery of who built the pyramids. But anyway, don't worry about it.
Anyway,
it's everybody's on camera now. Everybody's got a laptop camera. Everybody's got a podcast. Everybody's got a live stream. So you're just one of the millions, except people actually want to hear what you have to say. And that's why we have you.
Well, thank you very much.
So
I'm at your disposal. You can ask the questions from here on out.
Well, you know, the other good thing is we should, speaking of symbiotic working together now. So the strike 102.5 has been live for a few months now, but your show has been live for a long time on the strike, noon to 1. So if you're a Lightning fan and you're not listening to Lightning Power Lunch, I don't know what you're doing, because you and Greg do such a great job. I listen to it all the time. If you want to know about everything that's going on with the Lightning and the league, you guys are fantastic. We play it before, like on my drive over, I always put it on the strike and I listen to you guys. So it's kind of like a pregame show. I think they replayed it 5 to 6. I'm not sure of the schedule, but
I believe so. Yeah, leading into the pre-show that we have. Yeah.
So and then we on live from 10 to noon, and then you guys follow. So we're your lead-in. Hopefully, we're bringing you a little bit of audience here and there. But we just started this. So, but it's nice to have an alternative now for people on the radio if they want to listen to another station. Here we are, and I think that's great.
Well, and I think that Greg and I have benefited from the fact that we've done this for a few years now.
Yes.
So we did it when it was basically us in a room and nobody listening because nobody knew where to find us. But we probably got to work out a lot of the kinks. I think that we have good chemistry together. We like each other. I mean, a lot of the conversations that we have on the show, we had before there was a show, when we were just sitting in the booth before the game and we get into a conversation. But, you know, Lightning have had a 24/7 audio presence going back almost a decade now. You know this, JP, because you've done shows, and it was in different. There were different ways to get it. It was not as readily available as it is now, and some of that is just due to the way the world has changed, right? You know, back in the mid 2010s, most people still listened on terrestrial radio. They didn't really know how to access a show off their phone, or if they knew it existed, they needed a roadmap. And it's great to have the strike, which is, you know, on the terrestrial radio landscape. But there are a lot of different ways to consume audio now. But when we started, you know, I'm not sure how many people even knew we were on the air, but that didn't matter to us because, as you said, it didn't matter if there was one person listening or, you know, one with some zeros after it. We did the job to the best of our ability. So I think that we came into this having ridden the bicycle for a little bit, and I think that has helped. And we also, you know, are talking about a subject that we are warm to. We like talking hockey, and the flow of the season, you know, if it's like today, the day after a game, we recap the game. The day before a game, we preview the game. You know, we'll work in guests who give us a different perspective. So I actually have found, JP, that the three things that I do related to kind of Lightning games, one is calling the game. One is the show, which is an hour a day, Monday through Friday. And the other is writing for the website, which I write after every game. And then I throw in a column that's kind of more of a general column once a month. Like, they have a symbiotic relationship. You know, the three legs of the tripod all help each other. Broadcasting the game helps me do the talk show. The talk show helps me write. Writing gives me stuff to talk about on the talk show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I really enjoy all elements of it.
Well, and you're so good at it, and we really appreciate all you put in. That's a lot of work. What you do, I'm always like, geez, he's writing now. He does this. He does Lightning Lunch every day. I'm like, wow. And he's an author, which we'll have to talk about another time because we have a guest coming up right after you, by the way, which I know you're interested in this as well. Chris Youngblood, one of the leading scorers for USF basketball, who has a huge game on Sunday against FAU. So he will be following you. But this is what's great about this strike now is we do all sports on this show. You guys really cover the Lightning. We cover the Lightning as well. But we do all sports. So it gives people a little bit of extra. So let's get into last night's game. I thought it was a virtuoso performance by Kucherov and his line in a big game when they needed it most. And that third period I thought was just fantastic. They get the game tying goal from Stamkos on a great feed from Kucherov. And then Braden Point with the behind the back backhand pass, no look to Kucherov, who just buries it. I mean, those two things, erasing a lead, a deficit. I mean, that's just great hockey by a line that is just, you know, as good as you're going to find in this game. And your thoughts on what you saw there in that third period?
Well, overall, I thought it was the Lightning's best game since they returned from the bye, and they won 3 in a row now. So it's not like they've laid eggs every night, but that was their most complete game. That was probably their most impressive overall performance. And how are they able to win it? Well, one, they got huge performances from their top guys, and you alluded to that. And the three guys you mentioned were on a line together, and they did not choose to match the point line against the McKinnon line. They had Sorelli's line out as much as they could against the McKinnon line. So it wasn't really strength on strength, but it was actually Ross Colton's line for much of the night on Colorado that were dealing with the Kucherov Point Stamkos line, and they had a hard time. Well, like a lot of lines.
Yes.
But they brought it last night for the Lightning, and that was a big part of the victory. Another part was twice the Lightning fell behind, and each time they had a quick response, and both times it was the point line that had the response. But they fell behind 1-0 in the first, and within 2 minutes and 10 seconds, they had the game tied. That was big. And then maybe the biggest play of the game, which Coop referenced afterward, 20 seconds after the Avs score a power play goal early third to go up 3-2, Stamkos answers on the breakaway, and it's 3-3. And I thought from that point on, that was still early in the third, JP, the Lightning took over the game. They especially took it over once they got the lead back.
Yeah.
When that play you referenced with point to Kucherov, where they held the puck in and got numbers down low. And, the Avs had the one look from Parisi off the crossbar with maybe, 4 minutes left. That was really it. That was their one isolated look. And they had a long time with the goalie on the bench, and they had a hard time generating much of anything, which is a credit to how the Lightning defended the 6-on-5 against. I mean, they scored 2 empty netters. They had chances to score empty netters before that.
Yes.
And that kind of tells you they were getting it out of the zone. They were getting it out of the zone. They were making the Avs have to skate all the way back to their own end, get the puck again. And that's tiring. And the Lightning had the upper hand in the third period and were deserving of the victory for sure.
All right, Mish, we got Chris on deck here. Give me 30 seconds on this showdown with the Panthers on Saturday night. 2 teams playing great hockey, 2 rivals. This should be a fun one.
It should be. The Lightning are going to have to play even better, I think, than they did last night. I mean, the Panthers, they are playing like machine-like hockey. They are D'ing up. They are scoring. They don't appear to have any weaknesses, and we know it's a rivalry game when the 2 teams meet. So hopefully the Lightning will be ready and deliver, as you said, another virtuoso performance.
All right, Mish, we'll be listening to you guys at noon and much more on the Lightning with Greg Linnelli and Dave Mishkin coming up right after us on Lightning Power Lunch. Don't miss it each and every day on the Strike 102.5 and, of course, on the Lightning Audio Network. Thanks, Mish. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, JP. Take care.
All right, so that's the Lightning. We give you the Lightning, and now we got the other biggest story in Tampa Bay sports right here. Chris Youngblood, one of the great leaders of this ensemble cast of the USF Bulls, who will be playing number 24 FAU, the Final Four participants from last year, on Sunday in a sold-out arena, the Yuengling Center. Chris joins us now, and I see that smile on your face, man, and you're like, I can't wait to get in this gym. That's going to be packed to the rafters. What's it feel like, man?
It's unreal, man, because think about where we came from beginning of the season. We started off the season 2-4, and just the stuff that we heard and saw about us, man, and the perseverance we had to have throughout the season to get to where we are now, man. It's pretty impressive. So, man, we just got to keep this thing going.
Well, what did you hear? What did you see? What motivated you?
I mean, I can't really say too much, but just know it was very unpleasant things about our program and our coach. But hey, man, we kept it focused, man. It was early in the season, so we didn't take it to heart, man. We deserved it. We needed it.
Was that coming from somewhere around Central Florida? I mean, was it UCF fans or was
everywhere around Florida?
Well, hey, whatever it takes to motivate you, right? Michael Jordan found motivation in a lot of different things. What has been? I watched the game the other night against Tulsa, and once again, you guys are so unselfish. If it's one thing I could say, a few things I'd say about watching you guys play. Number one, you play extremely hard, and I love the effort that you give. But the unselfishness is just really fun to watch. You don't see it much in basketball anymore. And in a year of you have so many new guys, a new coach, new everything. You guys seem like a well-oiled machine. How did the chemistry become so good?
Oh, this offseason, man, the one thing that our coach preaches, man, being very intentional about your relationships with your teammates because it's a new group. And that was up to being one of the leaders of the team. That was probably one of my main priorities, man, making sure everybody was intentional about the relationships. And coach always preaches dangerously unselfishness. It's dangerous when nobody cares who gets the credit because we have a lot of talent on our team. So when nobody cares who gets the credit, man, we're pretty dangerous because that's when we have 6-7 people in double figures. It's hard to be any team when you got 6-7 people in double figures. So,
well, you're a perfect example. Last year, you were the ASUN or All ASUN. You were a finalist for the Lou Henson Award. You could have come in here and said, "Look, I'm going to be a 20-point guy. I'm taking 15, 20 shots a night." And you have that type of talent. You have a great 3-ball. You have all that, but you don't do that. No. How hard is that to not do?
I mean, naturally, as a player, as a hooper, man, like you work hard. So that's what you want to do. But the number one goal is to win. So you're going to do whatever it takes to win. I know that's not really conclusive to winning, taking 15, 20, 25 shots a game. Like if you look at teams across the country, man, if you got somebody taking 20, 25 shots a game, you probably are all right, but you're not number one or number two, top 3 in your conference. So man. So that's just understanding that we have a lot of talent around this team and just spreading it out evenly, and it makes us pretty dangerous and hard to guard and hard to stop.
Chris Youngblood joining us here from USF. They'll play FAU on noon on Sunday in the Pat Yingling Center. You guys have had some good crowds this year. This past game, you had about 6,000-7,000. This is different though, 10,000, and it's been a long time since that place has been packed. What's the buzz on campus like? Are people coming up to you, students coming up to you, man, hey, I'm going to be there? The students have been great, by the way. Talk a little bit about the vibe you expect on Sunday. The students
are unreal because you don't really understand how many people are on campus until you actually go out throughout campus, man. You might go get something to eat, Chick-fil-A or something on the student center, and people keep on coming up to you. And like to start the year, man, you used to walk through campus freely, man, no unbothered. Like, but now, man, the past few weeks, man, it's a little bit different. Like you kind of appreciate it, man, because like there's just a bunch of nice people that just big time supporters of USF, just sports period, not just basketball, but just USF. Like they know everything about you, like where you're from, your stats last year. When I was at my old school, I'm like, this is crazy.
Wow.
So it's just a high level of appreciation for our fans here in South Florida because they're big time. Yeah.
You know, your coach, Amir Abdul-Rahim, first year, you came from Kennesaw State. You followed him here. Obviously, you have a special relationship to him. I've been so struck. It was trying to remember the game I was watching. You guys were down 17 a couple weeks ago, and I'm looking at him on the sideline. He's smiling. He's smiling at you guys. I'm like, what's wrong with this coach? You're down 17. You're on national television. This is a big game. And he's just like, you guys are talking amongst yourselves in the timeout. He's smiling. I'm like, what the heck's going on? What was that all about? Like, what's going on in the huddle at that point?
Man, I say this humbly, but like this team, man, we're special. So like we know at any time, like we down 17, unless it's down 17 with 3 minutes to go, something like that. That's when you probably not smiling. But there's still a lot of game left.
Yeah, there was still like late first half, I think.
Yeah, man, we're fine. Like you obviously don't want to get in that hole, but with the way we can stack together some stops on the defensive end and the way we can score the ball, it's kind of hard to really be worried. And plus, this might be a new team, but we're older and we're experienced. So like individually, each player on this team has either been to the tournament, won championship, or just been in college basketball. So like this team is pretty experienced. So man, everybody knows not to get rattled, and that's up to coach and like leaders like me, Jose Placer, Sota Miguel. We can't get rattled because they're kind of looking at us like, man, how these people gonna act? So. Yeah, it's kind of just leading by example, man. Like if we're not getting rattled, we're not wide-eyed and not blinking, man. It's all right, man. There's plenty of game left.
You guys are incredible. And one of the young kids, Jaden Reed, your point guard, who made a huge shot in the big win over Memphis. You've kind of taken him under your wing, right? Tell me a little about your relationship with him.
Yeah, Jaden Reed, man. So like when I first met him, I'm like, but I guess this is what. I never really met anybody from New York for real, and they're different. Like it's a different type of mentality, different type of mojo or confidence about themselves.
Yeah.
So at first it comes off as cocky. I don't think I'm better than everybody, but like I saw right through that when I first met him. I was like, man, let's turn this into something good because confidence is good. But sometimes he can get kind of out of hand. Like he can get kind of overboard with the confidence. But it's a good problem to have, especially for a freshman. And I knew we was gonna have a good season, so I'm like, man, we're gonna need that confidence. Like, what game was that? It was a big shot. It might have been Charlotte game. Might have been Charlotte. He had a big shot late, big three.
Yes. I think it was a Charlotte game. Yeah.
And I'm like, and he's celebrating it, but like he's not shocked. He's like, man, I do this, and the dude has not scored the whole game. That's his first bucket of the game. I'm like, but that's the confidence. That's the confidence that man people from New York have. And like I just continue to him, man, keep your head up, man. Like because usually early in the season, man, he would have took the shot, but he wouldn't have been as confident. I'm like, man, the way the freshman years are, man, you're gonna have some games where you might not score the whole game, but you're in a game the last 5-6 minutes of the game for a reason. That means we have a lot of trust in you, and you should be confident at all times. Never hang your head over a couple of turnovers early in the game. Like you got to turn over the first first 2 medias of the game, that should not affect the rest of your game. Like, there's no way. There's too much game left, and you play too many minutes to let it affect you. So, just making sure, keeping his mental right. The basketball part, he's taking care of that. Like, his talent is off the roof, but just making sure, just the maturity part of the game is where I'm like most active with him, because he's gotten way better, but he still got some room to grow.
A young player. Chris Youngblood joining us here from USF Basketball. They'll play FAU on Sunday at noon, ESPN. They're ranked 24th, obviously Final Four team. They're coming in here. You guys are 11-1. You have the inside track at winning this league. A regular season win in this league, I would have to believe, would secure you an at-large bid for the NCAA tournament. And obviously that's your goal, and you believe you guys can make that. So talk a little bit about this game against FAU, how big it is just in terms of the league, and how confident you are in the matchup. What do you know about them?
It's kind of, I don't want to make this game bigger than what it is, because at the end of the day, it's still a regular season win.
Yep.
But just keep it real. It's an in-state game. So you always want to be, like, the one I go is, like, you always want to be one of the best teams in the state. So, like, you kind of take that personal, but it's at the end of the day, it's still a regular season game. And then it's like one of the games you can send a statement, because FAU is one of the better teams, the world respected in this league. So you always want to send a statement with that. And then what was the other question?
What about the matchup itself? What do you see from their team? You've scouted them.
Talented team. They got some talented guards, and we got some talented guards too. So it's gonna be a good matchup there. Fast paced, man, experienced team, like you mentioned, Final Four last year. So it's gonna be one competitive matchup.
Now, you went to the tournament last year with Kennesaw, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you've been to the big dance.
Yeah.
So what are you telling the little pups here you're with about? Hey, man, the food's good, accommodations are nice. I've covered a lot of them, and there's a special kind of body chills that you get when you walk into an arena for an NCAA tournament. It just is. It's a buzz. What have you told the young guys about the possibility of making the dance?
Yeah, it's like what I preach to them, man, is the small things to get there. Like, people think, oh man, you just want to get there and win, but like the small things, like you don't want to look too far ahead. You gotta, like, to get there, you gotta take it game by game, practice by practice. And next thing you know, whatever you are in the conference, win the regular season, win the championship, and like it just flies by. Yeah. But if you take it game by game, that's how it always ends up happening. That's how it happened last year. And next thing you know, man, you getting police escorts to the arena for March Madness, and then and you was like, man, what just happened? I just started conference in January. And next thing you know, you get police escorts to the arena. So, man, like I just said, man, it's an experience like no other, man. You got fans from all over the country coming to support you. Like they might come in like just unbiased, just looking to watch some good basketball. They might come in as a so-and-so fan. Next thing you know, by the second half, they're South Florida fans. Yeah. So that's usually how it works. So I just, man, continue to share the experience with them, man. And then making sure they just stay focused throughout the season, because winning, like, it can get to your head. All this pats on the back, congratulations, man. Mm-hmm. So you kind of lose the edge, but I just keep on letting them know, man, we still got a long ways to go. Like we had a great season so far. Yeah. But our end goal is not to be first place on February, whatever it is right now.
16th.
So, February 16th. That's not the end
I'm glad
goal.
You don't even know. That's not the goal.
I don't know.
That's good.
That's not the end goal. The end goal is to win this conference championship. So until we do that, and you can be pleased, but you can't be really satisfied.
All right, so I know a little bit about Kennesaw State. Have a good friend, longtime friend, Hunter McKay, which I'm sure you remember Hunter from up there, Rich's son. By the way, he told me when you guys were coming here, he said, "Wait till you see Chris Youngblood play, and wait till you get a taste of Coach Amir. They're both awesome. They're going to do amazing things at USF." And I was like, "All right, I'll store that in the memory bank." He was spot on. And I asked you about your coach earlier. I think we went off on a tangent. So give me a little bit more on Coach Amir and what he has taught you.
Man, Coach Amir, like outside of basketball, he's taught me just how to go about life. Like, because one thing I learned about basketball, man, like it's a direct correlation to how you live your life whether it's on the court, off the court, or in school. So like he's just taught me just kept on. I had good habits coming to college, but he just excelled them times 10 and just taught me the ins and outs of how to live right and how to go about certain things and how to lead. And that's one of probably the most important things. Like he doesn't even know, but I take mental notes from him for the past 3 or 4 years of like how to. Like I've used his coaching tactics on how to lead, and he doesn't even realize it yet. So he's very sarcastic. Cool. That's one thing I really. He's very sarcastic. He's very sarcastic, and then I guess recently I became sarcastic. That's what everybody else says, but man, he's just watch him coach and just teach for the past 4 years, man. It's helped me lead a team even behind closed doors because I'm not the type of person to just be screaming and yelling all the time. Right. But if it gets to the point, I will do that. But Coach Mary, he's taught me, and then the relationships. He's very intentional about his relationships, and I think that's how he's gotten his team to play so hard for him. Because it's kind of hard for a first-year head coach, man. It's kind of hard to earn that person's trust and just want to play hard for him from somebody that they just met. Yeah. So I feel like that's just a testament how good of a leader he is to get a brand new group of guys to play their heart out for him. Like that's different. You don't get that everywhere.
No, and it's certainly been a difference maker here. You don't often see teams come together like this. So, and this is kind of the last question because I've heard you say this a bunch of times, and I try to practice this in parenting and other things. When people say intentional relationships, I'm guessing that means you go out of your way to say, hey, Jaden, we're going to lunch today, or hey, we're hanging out this weekend, or hey, all the guys, we're getting together this weekend. It's not just waiting for practice, not just waiting for the lunchroom. You're going out of your way to make intentionally, right, to create these relationships. That's what we're talking about, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I ain't gonna lie. When we first got here during the summer, like I didn't like it, but Coach, he made everybody like it was like for like 2 weeks straight. He assigned like lunch dates. Like I didn't want to call it lunch dates, but he assigned like 2 people. Man, y'all have to go out to lunch this week, and he'll give us a list of questions. Man, it'll be like siblings, your name of your mom and dad.
How about that?
Where you're from? And I'm like, Coach, you really don't have to do that. Like, I got it taken care of. Like but I'm like, hey, you got it. You the coach. But so he did that, and then ever since then, man, like it wouldn't even be like going out to eat. It would just be everybody. We just come over to my spot, man. It'd be a couple players. We'll play 2K, Madden, and we just do some small stuff, just being around each other versus just being locked up in your room all day. Because it's easy to do that when you after a long day, man. You just want to go to sleep and just chill out,
right?
But being around your brothers, man, just building that relationship day by day, man. Whether it's 30 or 45 minutes, like just something. Like you see outside of the facilities because we ain't here so much, man. You need to take your mind off basketball.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
Well, Chris, listen, man, it's been so fun talking to you and getting to know you. You are obviously a great leader on this basketball team, and I can see why it has been such a success. It doesn't happen by accident. It takes great leadership on the floor and from the coaching staff, and clearly this team has that. So many of us will be there on Sunday for the first time in a long time because of you. And because of the coach in this team. And it's great to have basketball back in Tampa Bay, especially college basketball. I love it. Yes, and I cannot wait to be in that atmosphere on Sunday. So thank you and your teammates. And we look forward to it. Win or lose on Sunday, you've brought in the passion back. And I know there's a lot more in it. So thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate it, Chris.
Appreciate y'all for having me.
All right. Chris Youngblood right there, USF basketball. If you don't have a ticket, sorry for you. Sold out, but I'm sure you can get them on the secondary market. How about that? We're scalping Bulls basketball tickets now. How about that? That's pretty cool.
JP, you know what I was thinking the entire time that y'all were having that conversation, and I didn't jump in because I knew you had a lot to talk to.
I was waiting for you to, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't know that much about his game or the program, admittedly. So, but what I heard was a kid who sounds like a future head coach when his days are done. Right? That's all I could hear, man, was God, this kid's going to be a great coach someday if that's what he chooses to do when he's done playing.
Yeah, that's a great thought. But, he's mature beyond his years. He is mature beyond his years. Chris is not the typical, if I can say this, young person that I encounter these days. He seems very focused, very mature. Very like an old soul.
Yeah.
You see, that's what came to my mind is like he seems like an old soul, and the imprint. I hope Coach Amir was watching this interview because I bet he got a little teared up. To make an imprint on a young man's life. I mean, this is why these guys coach. I mean, they make a little bit of money these days, so that's good too. But
you got to love to do it to be good at it.
Yeah, exactly. To put your heart and soul and passion into it. And he's a hell of a coach. It's funny, in covering sports for so long, you see these things pop up from time to time, right? These programs just pop. They come out of nowhere, years and years of mediocrity, and all of a sudden they pop. You're like, what's going on there? And it's always the same thing, Tim. It's always the same thing. Somebody special is in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody new has brought a new culture and a new energy, and that person is special, and they're just different. I've never heard coaches talk about intentional relationships. Have you ever heard of a coach saying, you guys are going out on a date. I want you two to get together here. Here's a list of questions to ask siblings. Never heard of that.
That's crazy.
Never heard of that. And I mentioned Hunter McKay, who's Rich McKay's son. Hunter is the PR basketball PR guy at Kennesaw State. And I saw him at the Rondé Barber Hall of Fame, and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna love Coach Amir. Chris is unbelievable." I stored it away. You hear that because people develop relationships, and you're like, okay, that maybe that's true. We'll see. Boy, he nailed it. He nailed it. And I haven't met Amir yet. I have not done. That's on me. I look forward to it. But I've heard a lot about him. I've talked to a lot of people about him, and he's special. He's special. He's a difference maker. And
he was an assistant at A&M for 3 or 4 years. I want to say, around like 13 or 14 through 17 or 18 or something like that. So, I got to see, and I never met him or anything, but I got to see him at work a little bit, at Reed Arena and when I was covering games down there. But obviously he knows what he's doing. He's moving up in the coaching ranks. He comes from a high quality basketball family. His brother Sharif played in the NBA for 13 or 14 years. He's now the president of the G League, the NBA G League now. And so it's a high IQ basketball family, and man, to learn from those guys, for him to be your coach. Yeah. Chris Youngblood's certainly taking advantage of all of that. And he's just turning into a little mini Amir Abdur-Rahim. Yeah. And that's great.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And when you have an extension of the coach on the court and he just happens to be uber talented as well, that's a recipe for success as well. So this is fun to watch, and it's going to be a great scene. I mean, there's few things I get excited about, in my grizzled old veteran sportscaster age, a few things I get excited about, and you're going to witness live. And this is going to be one of them, because college basketball is something to me that is just, it brings an energy. The students, a small arena like that's packed, it's going to be so freaking loud. Man. It's going to be so freaking loud. The college atmosphere with the bands. I went to an NBA game the other night at the Magic. And it's just different. It's just different. The NBA, and the Magic do a great job, by the way. They really, really do a great job entertaining, but it's not a collegiate atmosphere, which I prefer. Right. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I for those of you who don't know, I worked on the FSU radio network for many years with Gene Deckerhoff when we first got into the ACC. So I traveled around Tobacco Road with the team, and that was a special, special opportunity to see college basketball at an era which I would, contend was the greatest of all time. The early 90s, when, North Carolina had Antoine Jameson, Vince Carter. Who's the other guard that they had that played in the NBA? They had 3 or 4 guys, Eric Montrose, who played in the NBA. And these guys played together for 3-4 years. Tim Duncan, Randolph Childress at Wake Forest. So many good players. Gugliotta was at NC State at the time. FSU had Charlie Ward. Tom Gugliotta. Remember him? Tom Gugliotta. FSU had Charlie Ward, Bob Sura, Doug Edwards, Sam Cassell, all first-round picks. I mean, we're talking about this was an elite time, and every arena you went
Duke was pretty good back then too.
What's that?
Duke was pretty good back then.
Duke was all right. Who did they have of that? Oh, that was the That was the Bobby Hurley team.
Bobby
Grant
Hurley,
Bobby
Christian Leitner. Yeah.
Grant Hill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Grant
That
Hill.
team. So yeah, this is my job. When I was in North Carolina, when I first came into the ACC, and then when I went to North Carolina to work 2 years in Greensboro. So I basically covered the ACC and all those places for about 6 years. And what a joy, man. What a joy. You're going into the Dean Dome. You're going into Cameron Indoor. NC State's place was amazing. Wake Forest, with Timmy Duncan, that place, Dave Odom was the coach at the time. God, where else did we go? Georgia Tech was, they had Travis Best. They were, it was every night. It was top 25, versus top 25, top 10 versus top 10. And the places where the arenas were just packed and the energy was insane. So
how big is that? Is Yingling Arena? Is that a big
10,000, like 9,000? Yeah, probably 9,500. They'll squeeze in 10,500. It's going to be bananas.
Is that a new building or is that the old Sundome?
It's the old Sundome.
Okay,
they redid the whole thing. It's like totally redone.
Wow. And
did a really, really nice job. Very intimate, atmosphere for a game like this. It is going to be bonkers. Bonkers. So
and it's going to be nationally televised, right?
It's ESPN on the
ESPN.
mothership.
Yeah.
Mothership will have it. And, this will be, as Chris mentioned, it's for state bragging rights. And, you start looking at it. If USF wins this, they've already beaten Florida State, obviously. So you're like, who's the best team in the state of Florida? UM's playing well, but UCF, in the Big 12, they've struggled a little bit there. So, basketball is getting better. But I would say if they win this game, USF, why not us? Best team in the state of Florida, moving and hopefully getting to the tournament. They win this game. I think they have a game and a half lead right now in the league. So they win this game. It's going to be hard for them to not win the regular season championship. And a regular season championship, despite, you probably got to win 2 in the tournament, and you'll get a good seeding, obviously. So maybe 1 game or 2 in your tournament at least. If you can get that, you got to be an at-large bid. Right. Shoo-in. I don't know if you'd have to win the conference tournament to get in. So it's a huge game. It's a huge game for USF, and they haven't been to the tournament since 2012. Wow. Stan Heath took them there. I think they want a play-in game. So fun stuff. Cannot wait for it. All right. Well, we've gone 57 minutes without giving you a commercial break, folks. So I hope we want to thank our sponsors for that. The Jeeves Law Group, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo will join us in our second hour. Italiano Insurance. We love you, folks. 813-877-7799. Let them do the shopping. You get the savings. The Golden Diamond Source. If you screwed up your Valentine, don't worry. You can get over there right now. They have a great selection, great after sale going on, plenty of inventory, and, of course, the best staff. That's the Golden Diamond Source. Our real estate group, the Geddes Gordon Group and American Mortgage Services. My man Clayton, big USF fan, runs AMS over there. We'll be at the USF game. So call Scotty Fitz to get your mortgage, Scott at amstampa.com. And Synovus Bank, John Acosta and the great folks at Synovus. Thanks all of our sponsors for this great first hour. Back in 3. Stay with us.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity. at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Start the new year with a new diamond from the Gold and Diamond Source. It's still engagement season. Where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? Of course, I just got mine there. I'm engaged. You should do the same thing. Let's go. Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country. A literal jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. And if you have a loved one or a special person in your life who has a birthday this month, maybe you have an anniversary coming up, you can get 15% off the January birthstone, which is garnet, as in garnet and gold for all your Seminoles. Celebrate that mythical national championship. And it's the Gold and Diamond Source's 40th anniversary. For the past 40 years, they have taken pride in offering only natural diamonds formed over billions of years from the Earth's incredible forces. And gold prices are at an all-time high. Now's your chance to turn your jewelry box into a cash machine. It's the perfect time to trade in your broken or unworn pieces for something new and stunning. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Get that insurance checkup right now. Let them save you thousands of dollars. 813-877-7799 is where you go for Italiano Insurance. Great customer service.
I thought I was going to have to bring us back there for a second.
No. Take care of a little business here.
There you go.
My interior decorator is working on a new couch for the man cave here, the man studio.
Oh, nice.
So right now we have kind of a black fabric thing. So she's like, I got this this brown leather like love seat. I'm looking. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, let's go do that. So that's what's going on in the break.
Nice.
Various. I cannot get over that interview with Chris Youngblood.
Very impressive young man. I'm telling you.
Wasn't he though? That's really cool. We're gonna clip that out, put it up on social media. Thanks to all the folks at USF for getting that done so quickly. Really appreciate them doing that. So, all right, let's jump into a couple other things. We mentioned the Rays thing earlier. Just a few notes on that they have now delayed the vote that was supposed to be in April and pushed it back to May. And as Brian Auld has said many times, that we cannot delay, that will fundamentally alter the deal. But it's the Rays, I guess, that are delaying the financial documents. This is so very Congress of them, right? This is how the U.S. Congress works, right? We give you a 1,800-page bill and say we got to vote on it tomorrow. Read it tonight. Or just vote on it like you're going to do anyway, because we'll tell you what to vote for, right? So it's not the way business should be done, especially when it's the biggest expenditure of public money in the history of Pinellas County and St. Petersburg. This is something that should be widely debated for long periods of time so that the constituents can digest what's really going on here and give them proper feedback to their council members. And be able to make an informed vote on this, and so now as it is, where they're going to do, they're going to finally present the full numbers to the council in sometime in April, and then do a May vote. And from what the Times reported, just 3 weeks is going to be all the public debate that we're going to get out of this, which seems, again, there's no need for that. We've taken 15 years to get to this point. So we need to shove this down the throats of the county commission and the city council in 3 weeks. Again, you have to ask, why are we doing this? Why are the Rays doing this? It seems, if I'm a public official, these are huge red flags that you have to you have to be aware of.
Right.
And here's another thing: where have they done any? If I'm the county commission or the city commission, I want to get some feedback in terms of polling numbers. Like where are the residents of Pinellas County and the city of St. Pete on this project? I mean, they have they've had numbers now that we framed them out, right? $1.2 billion in public money for the entire project. And most of that are going to the stadium. The Rays are going to put in approximately $450 million, and they're supposed to cover overages and what have you. So I'm wondering, like, where exactly are the constituents on this? Because we go to our comment section. Where are my glasses? I can actually. We'll give it a shot anyway. James says, St. Pete residents, I don't believe buy into the notion that the Rays need to change their name. There was never a feud even when the Rays Stadium was built. It's just a handful of crazy politicians. Yeah, this goes to, there are a couple of politicians that are like, okay, if we're spending this money, then it has to be the St. Pete Rays. Like it became the Florida Marlins, became the Miami Marlins because they moved it to a crappy location and spent $2 billion on a stadium that nobody goes to. So now we want our
Let's attach our name to that.
Yeah, attach your name to that disaster that you did. Of all the politicians that voted for that, who were ousted from office, by the way, careers over, political careers over for voting for that ridiculous financing package. Keep that in mind, you council members and mayor. James says, if anything, most St. Pete residents don't even want the stadium there. Remember when Stu floated the idea of Al Lang? All I saw were signs in the yard saying no. Yeah, remember when his first stadium overture was to build it down on the water in downtown St. Pete, where Al Lang Stadium is, which would have been a beautiful spot. I remember I've told this story before, so forgive me if you've heard it. So this is when I was at Channel 8, the big press conference. One of the many press conferences I've attended in the last 15 years. So they bring Carlos Pena out to Al Lang Field, and he's out in the outfield there, and they're like, hey, we're here, Carlos. We want you to hit balls into the water, like, McCovey code. So we're going to throw you a few, soft toss pitches. Just whack them into the water. Seems like a good idea, except the fact that, it's not, a real, he's in the outfield. It's not from a pitcher's mound. Some guy's like soft tossing the ball to him, and he's popping it up, fouling it back. He can't hit one into the water.
It's a backfire right there.
And I'm like, this is kind of like, this is what this idea is all about right here. It's a foul ball.
Wow.
It's a foul ball. I got to get Carlos Pena on the show one time and see if he remembers that. He'll probably laugh so hard. Yeah, and it was very apropos. It was a complete disaster. So all the St. Pete residents put up signs like, not on my lawn, no stadium downtown, no on the waterfront. And that's, honestly, that's kind of been the way St. Pete has treated the Rays. It's always been, at least to me, a stadium in the middle of a place that nobody really gives a rip. This downtown St. Pete is about eclectic music places and great restaurants and, small dive bars and Janice Landing, little concert spots. It's just a different vibe. And Major League Baseball is not fit there.
Right.
And it just doesn't fit the vibe. If you agree, disagree, let me know. It's one of the many reasons I don't think they should have it there, but whatever.
One of several.
If the people around it don't go, that should give you some thought. Kevin Reeves says Tampa has 25 plus years to come up with acceptable stadium plan. Couldn't pull it off. After Ray J, no public money for a new stadium of any kind will get public approval. By the way, good morning. Good morning, Kevin. I'll say this. It hasn't been 25 years for Tampa to get it together. They had a small window when they said we're going to allow Hillsborough County to look at it. Now, it was a couple years. That is true, but the Rays did not engage for a long, long time in that process. And once they did engage, they came up with a great plan in 2018, Rays 100, the whole 9 yard, plenty of corporate support. They came up with a great plan. Now, I will admit that their financial plan was not the most polished in the world. Ken Hagan will admit that as well. but rarely is this financial plan polished that they came up with in St. Pete. No, it's not. Not even close to polished, and it's way overpriced, by the way.
Polished turd.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, I mean, a lot of this stuff that it's come from false narratives that the Times have printed over the last 5 or 6 years. And a lot of it's just untrue. Like they constantly say there was no corporate support. Completely untrue. Completely 100% untrue. I have documents that will show you there was $115 million in pledge support, and that was just the beginning of a support. That was with no stadium plan. Okay, so and there was, they did the press conference. Stu did it. Ybor City. There's a beautiful plan. We'd no place we'd rather be. The Rays will be here for generations to come. Oh, you want me to pay half? Forget it. Bad idea. You know what I mean? That's the way it went down. That's not Tampa's fault. And the other part of this is in the last 2 years that they've been talking to Tampa, the Rays have not engaged in a fair way. And I know this for a fact. I know people have been part of this negotiations, that they have not bargained in good faith at all. And that is, and Tampa, and what Stu wanted from Tampa was a blank check. And they said, no, we're not doing that. You want to partner with us? We'll partner with you, but we're not just going to write you a blank check for $400 million to do whatever you want to do. We're not doing that. You want to partner with us and do a development in downtown Tampa, like the Braves did, like these other stadiums that have been done, partner with the community, a win-win for everybody. Yes, we're all in on that. And we'll give you more than St. Pete is offering you, but over a longer period of time as a partner. But Stu doesn't want that because he wants the money up front, and he can get it from St. Petersburg and, rob them blind and then sell the team and get the hell out. Tampa wasn't going to do that. So if you want to rip on Tampa, Ken Hagan and the commissioners for not having a plan, they have a plan. It's just not one that Stu wants because he can't, just take the money and run. That's the fact. Those are the facts. So I would say, once again, those who were saying, Tampa's never had a plan. No, they've had a plan. It's a responsible one, responsible to their constituents, and they're not going to budge from that. They're not going to just roll over and bend over for Stu like St. Petersburg's doing. It's not going to happen. And in this situation, in this scenario, everybody loses. If they build that thing in St. Pete, everybody loses. The fan base, 75% of the fan base doesn't want it in St. Pete. You would think they would listen to the fan base, right? Be smart, like the Braves did. Move to where your fans are, right? Might not be a bad idea. So they're not listening to the fans. All it is a money grab, folks. The Rays never wanted to be in St. Pete. How many times has that come out of Stu's mouth? St. Pete is not a major league city. We need to go to Montreal. St. Pete is not a major league city. We need to go to Tampa. St. Pete is not a major league. How many times have they said it? Now suddenly it is? Why is that? Maybe $1.2 billion in public money to stuff into his pockets.
That'll change your mind.
Yeah. Oh, St. Pete.
And all of you
looks really good now.
All of you Tampa residents, you should be happy that your city, that your politicians, that your local politicians are smart enough to see a bad stadium deal, because bad stadium deals can kill cities' economies.
Yes.
Really, really quick. And you don't want that to happen in your city if you're a Tampa resident. I don't care if you're a Rays fan and you'll do anything to have a stadium right down the street from you because you want to go to every game. That's great. But if it kills your city, your team's not going to be there that long anyway.
Right. Exactly.
Just be happy that they have the forethought and to be this way, to be diligent about it.
Do you think the residents of would do it differently? Yes,
100%.
They would. Of course they would. Thomas Casper says St. Pete can't approve anything without an indemnification of Stu's lawsuit, and the site is still toxic. True. Both of those things are true, and those are serious issues. The last Stu Stadium in Al Lang was nixed for global warming. That's right. Sea level is rising. Sea level is rising when the ice melts. You ever have a glass of water with ice in it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you don't drink it for a little while, and the ice melts?
It doesn't overflow your cup. It's a great analogy, man. That is great.
Wait. I thought the ice cap was going to melt, and then all the sea level was going to.
It's not how water works, folks.
Oh.
That's a great analogy. I love that.
Al Gore.
Yeah. I invented the internet.
By 2010, Florida will be underwater. That was more Clinton than Gore.
Yeah.
Remember, I love watching those clips of him. By 2016, all of the state of Florida will be underwater, he says in 1995 or 2001.
95.
Right.
How's that working out for you?
I think we're good.
Go call Monica.
Oh, it's Al Gore, not Clinton. I'm mixing it up, mixing up my accents. I'm terrible. Florida's not an MLB state, says Nathan Elliott. Be real with the situation because players only popular during spring training when the snowbirds are here. I love you, Nathan, but that is the worst take ever. It is the worst take ever. And it's based on, I understand, this is the whole cause and effect and argument. It's like you see this, Miami doesn't draw well, and St. Pete and Tampa Bay doesn't draw well. It's not because there's not a fan base here. It's because both teams and franchises have done this so poorly, like so ass backwards. Oh, we're the Marlins. We're going to play in a football stadium for most of our first 20 years, 15 years.
Bad football stadium, too.
So bad. That configuration was like somebody came in and went, okay, let's move this here. And okay. And it's like dumbest thing ever. Like I remember going to a baseball game there going, what the F is this? This is not – go to Fenway Park, go to Wrigley Field, and then go to what the Marlins did. And then they build a stadium, beautiful stadium, by the way. I think the actual stadium is beautiful.
Yeah.
In down where the Orange Bowl was, surrounded by small neighborhoods, no egress, no way to get in and out of, terrible
infrastructure.
locations.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go down to that area. Nothing around it that draws fans. No battery. Not in the middle of the market, Fort Lauderdale, but down in the south part of the market in Miami, in an impoverished area of Little Havana. Horrible location. Same thing you're doing in St. Pete. And then you spend $2 billion to do it. The reason nobody shows up, and not to mention the fact that the manager of the Marlins says pisses off every Cuban in Miami before the stadium even opens. Well done, Ozzy.
I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason Miami moved out of the Orange Bowl in what was it, 1988, when they built Joe Robbie Stadium, right? I mean, and now somehow the Marlins think 20 years later, hey, this is a good place to play baseball.
Yeah. And so what's our plan in St. Peter? What's our plan for the Rays? Oh, I got a good one. Here's one. Let's build a stadium before we even get a team. All right. We'll put catwalks all through it. It'll be the worst designed stadium in the history of the world.
When did they build Trop? That was like 1990,
it was
right?
Designed in the mid 80s. It was designed in the mid 80s.
And the Rays didn't get there till 98?
Yeah.
It was open
before the Rays even moved in. They had to do $100 million of renovations just to get it right for Major League Baseball, or maybe not 150, 60, something like that.
Right.
They had to just okay, now we got to do this, and it's still a disaster. It was obsolete the day it opened. It literally was obsolete because Camden Park had already opened. Camden Yards had already opened, I think, the same year. So the whole new nostalgic ballpark thing started, and we're still back 20 years.
Yeah, because you had like in 94. I think it was in 94. You had the ballpark in Arlington down here open.
Right.
You had Camden Yards open. You had Jacobs Field open in Cleveland, all like within a year or so of each other. This old, and you were getting away from the circular, Busch Stadium and Three River Stadium.
You're
going to the old fashioned now. The really cool stadiums, and then the Trop opens, or whatever it was called at the time. Another Sun Dome, right?
It was the Thunderdome. It was
Thunderdome.
the Thunderdome, right? It was the Thunderdome, and in Tropicana Field. Yeah, so it was already obsolete when it opened, right? And then, so this is how we did it in Tampa Bay, and we put it on the edge of the market. The edge of the market, not even in the middle of the market. Worst location you can have in the metro area, right? So we've done it all wrong, and then we get two a-hole owners. The first owner pisses off every business in Tampa Bay, walks into their boardrooms and pounds his fist and demands that every corporation buy tickets, embarrasses people at the luncheon, all over at the Chamber of Commerce luncheon, and threatens everybody there to buy season tickets. Just a real warm and fuzzy Vince Namoli. So bad that they had to get him out because he pissed off so many people. They bring in Stu Sternberg, who, got the team to win, did a lot of good things, brought in the new Wall Street way of running things. But the problem with Wall Street is you're treating your players like commodities, and you're buying and selling them. But that's not how baseball works.
Fans want to get attached to players. They want to have favorite players. You keep your players. That's how baseball works. But they didn't do it that way. Now they win games, but there's no attachment to the team because the players come and go so quickly. And then the owner blames the fans for not being able to spend money on payroll because they don't show up in your terribly located stadium or terribly located crappy stadium. Again, Nathan, it's not the fan bases. Both places have done this so wrong on every level. The way it should have been done is built a modern stadium in Tampa to open with, okay, that you could build a Camden Yards down on the water. Imagine if you will, a Camden Yards type stadium downtown Tampa on the water, right? With a lovable local owner.
With all the community support he can ask for. Yeah.
Jeffrey Vinnick. A Jeffrey Vinnick type person with owning the team, community related, baseball, not hockey, something we all grew up playing, right? Jeffrey Vinnick did it with a game nobody in Tampa Bay grew up playing. And it sells out 400 games in a row. People love it, right? Baseball on the water, great stadium. Do you think, Nathan, things would have been different for the Rays? Yeah. And here's the beautiful part about it. We still have a chance to do that. But we have a greedy owner that wants to suck every penny out of the sale of this team if he sells it, or take this terrible stadium deal for the city and for the fan base so he can enrich himself even more. You know, you cannot make the case. You cannot make the case that building another stadium in a same failed location is good for the fan base. And Rob Manfred freaking knows that. Shame on you, Rob Manfred, for coming on and saying, oh, well, this will change the dynamic. It's a money grab and you know it. He knows better. I think, maybe he's just, towing the company lines too. Is like, all right, I'm trying to sell the team. These new owners are going to build in Tampa. Let's delay the vote and, we'll get this done. I'm trying to, hijack, suck every penny out of these people trying to, but that's not good for baseball.
Manfred probably knows he's not going to be in office by the time this thing gets done anyway. So he doesn't give a crap. He's already preparing to leave. He doesn't care.
But he wants to finish expansion, but he can't finish expansion until these two stadium deals are done. And then, and the Vegas thing is, the Vegas mayor is like, go back to Oakland. We don't want you. He literally said that. Like, I know we don't really want to build that here. So I know. And then Manfred's like, oh, they'll be fine. They'll get it done. Really? Because when I was out in Vegas, I talked to people about it and they're like, yeah, we have no interest in baseball. You're talking to the cab drivers, the people that live there.
Yeah.
And I say, what about this baseball thing? And they're like, we got the hockey team that's really ours. We love it. The NFL team is just kind of we love our NFL team, but it's kind of more other teams, fans that come here for the game. Like the hockey team's really ours. That's the one they really embrace. They have no interest in baseball. And they're like, when are we going to go? Like, it's so hot out in the summer. I mean, just even getting to the games, nobody wants to.
Well, I mean, so clearly you got to build an indoor stadium in Vegas. I mean, for sure, when the A's go, but the A's are drawing 4,000 people a game in Oakland. Surely you can get 5,000 people a game, right? In Vegas, I mean, they're 10.
Yeah, I think they'll draw more, but will they?
They will.
Again, it's 81 games. In Vegas, these casinos can buy their luxury boxes for hockey and football, and they can put all their clients up in them.
Yeah.
81 games. I guess every casino will have a box, but I don't know. I just don't. I don't think it works like the sports stuff. I think
just
the
because
NBA,
the season's so long. Yeah,
exactly. And it's in the summer. Like people don't want to go outside in summer, even to go to even to walk, walk from your car to the stadium. It's 125 degrees.
Dude, I was in Vegas. I was in Vegas in 1991 for a trade show. Wearing a suit, right? Doing an electronics trade show for the company I worked for. I can remember, and it was the first weekend the Mirage was open because we stayed there the very first weekend, saw the volcano go off for the first time ever.
Oh, nice.
So I'm outside the convention center waiting for my cab to take me back to the Mirage. It's 4:00 in the afternoon, wearing a suit, nice leather shoes, right? I can't stand in one spot with my shoes on because it's burning my feet. And I look down and I got my suit coat on still because I got my lapel badge. Yeah. I look down and the corners of the plastic badge are curling up because of the heat coming up. It's like it's melting on my body. And I was like, I'm never coming back here again. I mean, half of them, obviously.
I got off the plane in, was it June? What was that last year? Whenever it was in the summer. I got off the plane at 10 o'clock at night. I walked out to get into my Uber. It was 112 degrees.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock at night.
Dude, that's Dallas, though, in the summertime.
I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Like, you walk outside and it's just like you're literally walking into an oven. First of all, what's the cost in cooling a baseball stadium for 81 home games? Like, holy shiz. You know, and you're not, you know, even if it's Vegas, I don't know if you're going to do a lot of concerts in the baseball stadium there and do extra baits, because I got a Sphere. I've got 1,700 other concert venues. I got T-Mobile Arena. I got I got Allegiant Stadium. I got, you know, so on. I just don't see room for baseball. I just don't. Now, an NBA team in T-Mobile Arena, that makes sense. That makes sense. But a Major League Baseball team in Vegas, that doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, we got our own problems here.
Man, right?
Yeah. Nathan is clapping back at me. Let's see what he says here. Average attendance for spring training in Bradenton is over 6,500 per game. Max seating is 10,000. Are you telling me that Bradenton is a better location for baseball than St. Pete? No, these are two different arguments, Nathan, to be quite honest. You know, we filled the stadiums in spring training because the snowbirds come down here, and that's fine. They come down here and they go to the games, and some locals go to the games, and that's fine. That doesn't preclude the 11th largest market in America from supporting a baseball team. We do it for the Lightning. We do it for hockey. If we averaged 20,000 in baseball, we'd be fantastic. That's all you need. That's a great response if you average that, what we do for hockey. So it's not just, it's this whole idea of, Florida just likes spring training. No, it's not based in fact. It doesn't even make sense. I'm a baseball fan. I love baseball. And as soon as spring's over, I'm done going to baseball games. I don't want to go to see a local team. That makes no sense. What does make sense is you have a horrible location, a horrible owner, and you've had in a horrible stadium. But you expect people to come out all the time. Let's do it right and see what happens. And the way they're going about it now, they're not doing it right.
Yep.
All right, let's get off that and go to let's take a break. We'll take a break. We'll come back. I want to get to a little bit of NFL stuff. I still have not talked about the Steve Wilkes firing
at all, huh?
No, we have not talked about that. So I want to get to that and a couple other Bucks notes as well. So quick break. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. If you screwed up Valentine's Day, you still have time to make it right, folks. Get on over there. Get your engagement ring. 3 to 5 years, 0% financing. And, of course, the greatest staff in the world will help you out. It's the Gold and Diamond Source. Back in 3.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here, coming to you live on 102.5, The Strike. So glad to have Dave Mishkin on. Of course, Mish and Greg Linnelli will follow this program on 102.5 with Lightning Power Lunch. They'll relive last night's lovely win over the Colorado Avalanche, 6-3. A couple of empty netter goals last night, but a great third period by the Lightning as they come back from down 3-2 to get a great goal from Stamkos on a super pass from Kucherov on a kind of mini breakaway. Looked like he was offsides, but he was not. And he scores with a great move on Annunen, who was in goal last night for Colorado, who played really well. But the Lightning were so good last night. And so that was a fantastic move. Great piece of skill by Stamkos, who normally like makes one deke and then shoots. This was a whoosh, whoosh, like a 1-2-3 backhander into the net. Great move. And then Braden Point is in the slot. He gets the pass. I think it was Hedman and Stammer did a great job of keeping the play in the zone. And they get it down to Point, and the defenseman comes to him, and Annunen comes in to shut him down on the backhand. But instead of flipping it up into the goal or taking a shot, Point with his back to Kucherov, his back is behind him, and he's going to the backhand, just flips a no-look backhand pass right to Kucherov, who's at the back door, and he just calmly just stops it with his skate, puts it on his blade, pops it in. It's just like –
those guys are good, aren't they?
I said this on a post-game show last night. I said, people, do you know what you're watching here? Do you have any idea what you're watching here? This is like 1980s Oilers stuff. This is, Islanders stuff. This is a dynasty. I know we've only won 2, been to 4 finals, 1-2, still in the window to win. But there are 4 bona fide Hall of Famers on this team. I think there's locks. Hedman's a lock, Kucherov's a lock, Stamkos is a lock, and Vasi's a lock. 4 guys. You can name on one hand how many teams have had 4 guys, 4 Hall of Famers playing in their prime. How many? I mean, not many. And Braden Point, 50-goal scorer last year, he might make it to the Hall as well. You never know. So it could be as many as 5. But definitely, I think a lock of 4. And we're watching these guys play. I mean, this is virtuoso Hall of Fame stuff. And in the third period, against a great team like Colorado, as Mishkin said, you shut them down offensively to no real serious chances in the fourth period once you took the lead, and third period when you took the lead. And then those 2 goals. That's not normal, folks. This is crazy good stuff. And that's why people love the Lightning. Absolutely love the Lightning. All right, little NFL stuff for you. I couldn't believe this, Timmy, when I saw it. When I came across the wire, Steve Wilkes fired. I was like, Wait, what? Did they get that wrong? Shouldn't they have fired the offensive coordinator
Or the head coach?
or the head coach, or both in one?
Well, apparently what I'm seeing is that they've had a philosophical difference in their defensive philosophies since Wilkes took the job. I mean, and apparently it's been bad. I don't know if you saw during the Super Bowl what was
to call a timeout.
They had to, Shanahan called that timeout, and apparently went off on Wilkes, and that was the nail in the coffin right there.
Yeah. I get that, but I guess you're like, well, why didn't you know that before you hired him?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of weird. But okay, so the relationship didn't go well. And things like this can never end well. I want to say, well, why didn't you, I don't know. Maybe I wanted a news conference where Shanahan, and all the times he did it, he comes out and says, look, Steve Wilkes is a great defense coordinator. He look at the numbers this year. He did a fantastic job. The playoffs, we didn't get it done. And a lot of that's my fault. I screwed these things up. And I screwed up the clock. I should have used my timeouts at the end of the first. The 3 blunders of Shanahan. Coming to a record store near you.
Love it. Still have record stores?
They might. I don't know if that song will ever get produced, but I did write it. So, I mean, he come out with the news conference and mea culpa all the crap that you did, and then say, all right, we are parting ways with Steve Wilkes because we have a philosophical difference. We did not mesh well as coordinators this year. And it's not his fault. The Super Bowl is not his fault. I am not scapegoating him. I made way more mistakes than he did. We just have different philosophies. So we're parting ways. I didn't see that. Did we get that news conference? Did that respectful way? Because you could do this, Kyle, but you didn't do that. So I don't know. I guess I want things to be. It just seemed weird. Did it not? Disrespectful.
And the timing was weird.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And all the positions have been filled for the most part. So it's not like there's any DC openings.
Yeah. So I mean, again, so now you've handcuffed yourself because you made it to the Super Bowl, and now you fired your DC, and now your selection is going to be few and far between to find somebody to replace them. I mean, you're going to promote somebody from within. I mean, you almost have to, right?
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's easier to go out and find somebody than it is for Steve Wilkes to go find a job at this point. And I think he got a raw deal in Carolina. So, I'm not one to play the race card on these things, until there's actual evidence of that. But if I'm Steve Wilkes, it's hard not to. You
might go the route of Brian Flores, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I look at what the job he did in Carolina was a hell of a lot better than the job Matt Rule did.
Yeah.
Like not even close.
Yeah.
And if you ask me to pick between Steve Wilkes and Dave Canales, the new Panthers coach, I'd take Steve Wilkes.
Oh, right.
So if I'm Steve Wilkes, I'm like, what the F? There were 8 openings for head coaching jobs, which I didn't get a shot to get those. Now I'm sitting out here, he'll be well compensated. I mean, he's not, he ain't hurting for money. He's not like he's out on the street, with a tin cup. He'll be fine, but it's a little disrespectful. I think I would have handled it a different way if I were Kyle Shanahan, especially given the mistakes that he made in that Super Bowl. I just didn't think it was handled very well.
Yeah, I mean, Shanahan obviously made more and more egregious mistakes than Wilkes did.
Hell yes.
And Shanahan knew what Wilkes, game plan was going in. You had to approve it. You were in on the meetings. I mean, you're the head coach, so you knew what he was going to do. But you're the one that screwed things up. Why aren't you at? And I can't believe more people aren't talking about Shanahan losing his job. I don't know why that's not a thing.
I agree with you. I mean, because again, these are not like 50-50 calls in my opinion. Like the overtime call and people who are trying to defend that. Oh no, the analytics say that is to me the A1 perfect example of why analytics suck. You can run all the numbers you want to run, but situations matter, especially in football, because it's an emotional game. It's a game of momentum, and none of that is taken into consideration when you do analytics. They're purely numbers. You know, you can't. You know, how tired is your defense? How long is the break between the end of the game and going on defense was significant. It wasn't like you were putting them right back out there. Both defenses were tired, by the way. But the idea of knowing what your opponent did and you being able to utilize a fourth down, I mean, just by the numbers, it's a 25% better chance of getting a first down. Just in terms of pure strategy, though, it's so easy. It's so much easier when you know you have 4 downs as opposed to 3 downs. And it came into play. Yeah. It came into play on both sides of the ball. And I say this, and I don't think people understand this, Tim. The Chiefs already knew what they had to do on 4th down, on 4th and 1. There was never a moment where they had to say, oh, should we go for it or not? Nope. All your focus is directed on how to get the 1 yard. You know, everything. There's no other thought process going on the sideline. Think about that. What a huge advantage. Even calling plays, on a 3rd and 3, you got 2 downs to get it.
Yep. And
then think about it from the 49ers standpoint. They had a 4th down call. They decided to kick a field goal. Had there been no decision to make, number one, you might have made it. You might have scored a touchdown because you're at the 9-yard line. You might have got the first down. Plus, they had to defend the touchdown and the first down line, which makes it more difficult. But the biggest thing is there would never be a moment in the process where should we go or not? You already knew. That's the advantage of having the ball second. It's a humongous advantage. That's why nobody in college football ever takes the ball.
Yeah.
And I know it's different, but it's not different in the initial call.
Not with strategy, it's not.
Yes. And the whole idea when you go third, you weren't getting the ball anyway. And you should have predicted that. You should know that there's a chance that you're not going to get the ball the third time, even if your reasoning says, well, then it becomes a field goal game. You want it a third time. That is such a reach compared to this strategic. Yeah, Shanahan completely screwed the pooch. And we're not even talking about his lack of timeout usage in the first half, which is, again, a no-brainer. That is creating a turnover for your team as a coach by getting an extra possession. And all you have to do is use the timeouts that you're given. Didn't do it.
Nope.
Coaching malfeasance. Those are 3 blunders. You had to go for it on 4th down if you decided to take the ball. You shouldn't have taken the ball, and you should have used your timeouts. Those are not little things. Those are humongous things that in a 3-point game cost you the Super Bowl. And Kyle Shanahan is now – and look, you can look at him and say, okay, if we lose Shanahan, who are we going to get? If we fire him, who are we going to get? Are we going to get somebody better? Or is it better for us to just say, Kyle, can you learn how to freaking win in these situations and do a better job?
You could have promoted Steve Wilkes. Now you can't.
Touche, my friend. Touche. Imagine John Lynch going to the press conference where Kyle Shanahan's and he's like, well, Kyle, actually, Steve Wilkes is going to take your job because you're a moron.
Because you're still a rookie head coach, apparently.
Wow. That would have been a little bit of all right. Also, Caitlin Clark last night. Did you watch that?
I didn't watch it, but I saw the replays.
Are you kidding me? You break the record by literally shooting from the logo.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
I was like,
pretty freaking awesome.
I'm like, if this goes in, I'm like, that's how you broke the record. Are you flipping kidding me?
Of course, it was all over social media after it happened, and I was like, no, there's no way.
I mean, come on. And that thing and she shot that with such I'm making this.
Yeah.
Literally
all
from the logo. She's unbelievable. And then she scores 49, which is the school record. So she eclipses the school record, 49 points. She's in reach now of Pete Maravich's all-time record as well, with 4 games to go.
God, I hope she gets it too.
And she had last night 40 points, 10 assists, right? 40 point 10 assist game. So she's done that 4 times now. 40 points, 10 assists. You know how many times it's been done in the last 25 years?
0. Other than her, 0.
Other than her, 0.
Yeah.
Think about all the great players in women's college basketball. 40 and 10.
You have this though. You know why? This is why women's college basketball is so great, because you don't have girls leaving early to go to the WNBA. They play out there 4 years.
Thank you.
And that's why
because they can make more money in college now than they'll make in the NBA, and that's real.
She'll go to the WNBA, the number 1 overall pick, whoever that's going to be, and she will take a pay cut.
Yeah, a humongous one.
As a number 1 pick in her league, her professional league, and she will take a pay cut.
Well, actually, her salary will be a pay cut, but she'll still have endorsement money. I would think anybody who's endorsing her now through NIL would be stupid not to continue that in her WNBA career, right?
Yeah, but as far as her salary goes, her compensation from the league,
I think the rookies make like what, 66,000 or 70,000. Like that's below the poverty line, I think, right now with inflation.
I thought it was more like 6,600.
No, it's more than I think they should get paid the same as the NBA players. I think the NBA should take the money out of their coffers and pay the WNBA players commensurate to what they play the NBA players.
Or at least half, right?
What do you think about that?
At least half.
NBA be like, oh.
God.
Yes. Women don't get equal pay NBA? What are we doing?
Can you imagine Caitlin Clark coming out and her salary at the WNBA is $10 million a year?
That's what LeBron's making on a Wednesday.
Yeah, that's one game.
It's one game for LeBron. Come on, NBA, step up. Take some of that Chinese money and spread it around. You're so enlightened. You're so woke.
Dennis Rodman will work that deal out for you.
I wonder why the female, because those soccer players are knocking on the door of the WNBA players. Go, can you speak up and say you want the same as and they're probably like, no, let's not. We like where we're at.
Yeah,
we have a league. We're doing all right. Won't still rock the boat. We're good.
Talking expansion. So let's
shut up,
leave
Megan.
Oh, God.
Go off into retirement.
She just needs to shut up anyway.
Yeah. All right, let's bring in our good friend Chris Lugo from Bay Area Modern Medicine. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Guys, how's it going this morning?
Well, you sound good. You're not congested anymore. I'm not congested anymore.
Thank you.
Did we all beat the crud? Tim's not congested anymore.
Yeah, I'm good.
No, not really.
Tell me, this has been historic. I have never seen a more sickly population in my life for the past month and a half. Fair to say?
Fair to say.
What the hell's going on? Enlighten me.
Lots of things going on. COVID's going around. Flu's going on. Some no-name stuff's going on. So there's a lot of stuff.
What? Oh, wait. What's no-name stuff? COVID was no-name before it got a name.
Swabbing positive for RSV, aren't swabbing positive for flu, aren't swabbing positive for COVID. It's no-name stuff, I call it.
So it's just another virus that we just don't have a name for yet?
Well, nothing that's circulating right now, no.
So, and what do we do for it?
Do what you should be doing: eating clean, stay on top of your supplements, mitigating the blow of it, for lack of better words.
Washing your hands.
That's a novel thing. Wash your hands. Yeah. That's a novel.
Wearing a mask. Should I be wearing a mask?
Come on. Stay away from people who are coughing in your face. Like,
yes. Don't cough in people's face.
People say, "Don't cough like this."
Yeah.
Come on.
What's the best way to cough?
In your arm,
in your sleeve,
right? Head. Yeah, away from people.
How about walk outside and cough?
Or
go someplace outside, private,
away from someone and cough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what bothers me the most. Is if you're in a public place, like somebody. I understand you have to cough or you have to sneeze, but can you take 5 steps away? And just do it in your own little area. Or I love this. If you're in line with somebody, like they don't want to get out of line and cough and sneeze. I'm like, dude, I'll hold your space.
Yeah.
Just
do it somewhere else.
Go walk over there instead of me feeling the spray on the back of my neck.
Exactly.
Have like this. I don't need a medical degree to have common courtesy, right?
Correct.
Let's do that a little bit.
That escapes a lot of people.
Yeah. So, all right. I'm and the lovely Ashley is still battling this ear infection.
Is she? Okay.
I sent you the little picture that we have the little pen that we can put in the ear and show.
Correct.
How'd you like that?
Well, I didn't know you had that. That's why I said, "Hey, is that her ear?" And you're like, "Yeah, dumbass. Yeah, sure, it's her ear. Yeah." Like, what am I?
Not another orifice. No, that's her ear. That's her ear. Yes, just making sure. So,
I've had
but
patients send me pics before. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh no!
Yeah. Hey.
Glad I'm not on that thread.
well, if it looked like that,
HIPAA compliant.
they need some medicine.
Hey, what's this thing? Okay.
You never know where this is going to go when Lugo comes
Correct,
on.
yeah.
You never know. It's going to be entertaining though. No, so but that was bad.
That was ugly. 100%. I agree with you.
And she still has this inner ear infection. I've heard some other. Is that going around too? The inner ear?
I've had a few people complain of some ear infections, but not overly concerning.
Yeah, and it still hasn't popped. It's been like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks now.
Yeah, so as ugly as hers is, I probably would have treated that both ways, both topical inside with drops and oral medications. And some steroids to kind of help calm the inflammation down. I mean, that probably needed hit from both ends. Yeah. Usually, if it's just the drum itself, it looks ugly, but her canal also looked ugly too. Yeah. So it looked like it was like an inner ear, swimmer's ear, people like to call it. Yeah. But that I'm sure on the inside was also ugly on the inside too.
And this can last for weeks and weeks before.
Should not. No, you should be able to nip that in the bud pretty quickly. So
yeah, she's still having issues with it. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe she needs to come see you then.
Yeah.
Because the doctor that she went to, I don't think was really that urgent care.
Yeah, doc in a box we call those.
Yeah, they don't really give a crap, do they?
No, kind of like my VA personnel. And yeah, I've got some good VA people that I know, but on the other side, they're just for the paycheck. They don't care too much.
Yeah, that's why you got to get someone who understands what you're going through, like yourself.
Right. Yeah,
and establish a relationship with that doctor, right?
100%.
Pick it up from there.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, that's the better thing to do. Someone who knows you, not someone who's trying to treat and street you.
Yeah. Yeah, that treat and street. Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. Hey, we don't talk enough about True Body. We do the spot on it, but you see the real time results. Tell the people a little bit more about that machine and what it's doing and what kind of results you're getting.
True Body. So yeah, True Body is Cutera's True Sculpt and True Flex machine. The two different machines, they combine them together to called True Body. They work. I don't call them miracles, but they really do a great job. And I get a lot of people, why don't you use cool sculpting? It's better, right? I'm like, no, it's an Allergan product, which Botox, that's Allergan, right? So they've got a lot of money to push that product. And the reason why I chose True Sculpt and True Flex is because they're different. And the True Sculpt actually promotes collagen production. So everyone's ingesting collagen day, putting it in their coffee and they're drinking. I'm like, why are you doing that? I want them to understand why they're doing well. It's for my skin. I'm like, well, there are a lot of assumptions that's going to help build your collagen for your skin. We've got a machine that actually has proven to help with collagen production. So that's why I like that. It's customizable. We can put those things exactly where you want them to go, not like the cool sculpting, which is that shark bite. This doesn't cause nerve damage like the cool sculpting does. Linda Evangelista, the model, everyone knows her, damaged her skin from cool sculpting. So there's multiple reasons why I like the True Sculpt over the cool sculpting. And then Flex, they together, when you build that muscle and you burn that fat, you start seeing the changes a lot quicker instead of having to wait 12 weeks for True Sculpt or cool sculpting to work. They work quicker. So that's why they're really good. And like, if you want that beach body for the summer, you've got to start now. You can't wait till June to call me and say, hey, I want to go into the beach next week. I'm like, you should come see me back in March and February to get that.
So what does it take? A couple months, 2-3 months to get where? Well, it depends on how fat you are, I guess.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing about it. Like, hey, I want to get rid of this roll. Well, Tim, I can't see you're just sitting down, but I get people like, hey, I want to get rid of this roll.
Don't do it, Tim.
Don't do it.
Take my shirt off.
Don't do it.
I've seen worse. Give it to me.
I don't know, man.
But hey, we can put a finger under that. That's one treatment. If it's 2 fingers under that roll, that's going to be 2 treatments. If it's 3 fingers under that roll, that's going to be 3 treatments. So how many treatments? Well, it depends on how many rolls you got, right? So depends on how deep that roll is.
Yeah, and a lot of
it's got to be realistic, right? Don't come to me, 75 pounds overweight and expect the miracles from the machine. They don't do that. It's for that stubborn fat. I've lost that weight, but that thing won't go away. That's what these things are definitely intended for.
Yeah, it's good to know. And how do they get? They just go to the website, right? And
Website, yeah, look at our own website. It's easy. You can do it on Friday night at 10 o'clock at night instead of having to call me on Monday morning. You can be booking when you're surfing the net. So BAMMC.com.
And the other thing for nutrition and just in general, your diet, beach season is coming up. Say you want to lose, 10, 15 pounds. First, the best way is to come in and see you, right? That's the best way to do it.
Let's do a consultation. Look, my undergraduate degree is in nutrition. The difference between my undergraduate nutritional science and a dietitian is I chose to go to medical school. They chose to go to become a dietitian, and they are drinking the Kool-Aid on the pyramid. I no longer drink the Kool-Aid on the pyramid. It's not about the pyramid, but you got to start with good nutrition. You got to start eating cleaner. I don't like calling it a diet. Diet's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle change. Really and truly is what it comes down to. It's staying away from drinking a 6-pack of Coke every single day and eating the bag of potato chips every single day. It's the simple stuff. Really, truly it is. And when you give that stuff up, that's when things start happening.
All right, partner, BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center.com.
That's
just BAMMC.com. Get your appointment now and while you still can, because you're getting busy. I know you're a busy man.
Weight loss has been really busy. Everybody's been wanting the GLPs, and they really do help a subset of population.
Yeah.
But they're not for everybody. And that's the thing about them. Some people are handing out like Fez candy. It's not for everybody.
That's what we talk about all the time. Personalized medicine is where everything is going, and you can't get that if you're seeing your doctor for 15 minutes at a time. You can't do that. It's impossible.
You want to know why I don't take insurance? Because I don't want to treat and street you. I want to sit. I want to know you.
Yeah,
that's the importance.
Yep. And by the way, you can use your insurance to get all your labs done if you need to see a
100%.
specialist, all that other stuff. But have someone, a concierge doctor like Chris Lugo, to direct your medical care. And know who you are. Yes. And when you get, even when you get a little ear infection or whatever you get, I call you and you say, here, I'll call this in for you, because he knows me. And that's the way it gets done. All right, Chris. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate your time. As always.
Guys, have a great one.
All right. Go Gators.
Take care.
All right. See ya. I love saying that just because, I have to say it by law.
Go Gators.
Yeah.
Man, I should have asked him, because that's the first time I've been on with him. I meant to ask him about.
Why didn't you jump right in there?
I was thinking, y'all were talking about the body sculpting and stuff, and
we'll do it next week then.
I need to ask you about some supplements and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah. He's got me on quercetin, vitamin C, vitamin D. What else? Gosh, what else do I take? There's bromelain, and a lot of this stuff is more for cold and flu season. Mm-hmm. And I did get the flu, but I had it for about 24 hours.
Yeah.
That was it. And my congestion lingered for probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks. But I didn't get the full on body aches, the full on, I got everybody in the house got it, either COVID or flu or one of the two. And it lingered for a long time, but I've got, I'm pumping that C and that D and the multivitamin and quercetin and those things that he's got me on. And it seems to work. It seems to work. As long as I keep taking it, I don't get sick. So,
and that's all over the counter stuff pretty much that you're taking?
Yeah, that's all over the counter stuff. Yeah. But get the better quality stuff. Spend a couple extra bucks to get the better quality stuff because it makes a difference. Sure. And the other part is, and I've not done as good a job as I need to do, but it's so cliche, but man, fruits and vegetables. Eat, I get a bag of oranges. I'm trying to eat 2 or 3 of those little, oranges a day. Yeah. Have the apple a day is, is cliche, but it works.
Yeah.
That's good stuff for you. All right. Let's get back to our commenters here before we get out of here. Nathan, we're arguing about the fan bases here. He says we can agree to respectfully disagree, and we can, Nathan. We can do that. Snowbirds are the lifeblood supporting spring training, and when they leave, the real MLB fan base leaves. I still think there's a huge untapped race fan base, the ones that watch all the time on TV, but just can't get to the games because of the location or the lack of wanting to because of the owner. And James says, great ownership, great market, and winning like lightning means attendance is never an issue. That's right. If the Rays can get new ownership and build a 30,000-seat state-of-the-art facility, you won't have 7K Tuesday nights when Kansas City comes. I may be wrong, Nathan, but I agree with James, and I've always believed that. And it's because we've seen it. The Lightning did it, and like I said, had we done it right from the beginning, and the team would have been on Tampa, and this is the thing that, you know, St. Pete people get mad, or the few people that care about baseball in St. Pete get mad at me for saying this. It's not that St. Pete is a bad place. It's an awesome place. It's the reason they don't need a baseball stadium.
Yep.
They got the beaches, they got the downtown. It's freaking beautiful. But it's not a place for a baseball stadium. And if we did it right here, I think, you know, I'm not saying we're drawing, you know, we're not going to be the Cardinals. We're not going to draw 40,000 every freaking night, but you average 19 to 20,000, which I think you would do. You're good to go. And more than that, you get an owner that's going to put money back into the team and not take it all out and never spend money on payroll. And that's what's been done. That's fact. That's fact. So hopefully we fix all those things. All right. Thank you all for joining us once again, especially on the Strike 102.5 HD. Remember now, if you're driving around 10 to noon, you can listen to us live. And then Greg Linnelli and Dave Mishkin follow us from 12 to 1 with the live show, and then a lot of great programming. Martini Mondays with Phil and Bobby the Chief Taylor, Greg Wolf and Cody's podcast as well. Chris Cran and Gabby Shirley have a podcast that we put up there. All kinds of great lightning stuff. So each and every day we're on live. We're live from 10 to 1 o'clock right here on the Strike. So 102.5. Check it out. And we'll be back tomorrow or on Monday with more fun and frivolity. Have a great weekend, Timmy.
See ya.
Go Bolts.
Go Bolts.